Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick here. Hope everybody who's watching this is having an unbelievable day. I hope up until this point you've had an unbelievable year. And if you're watching it, I hope that everything that you have set out to do, you've accomplished. If not, you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. You know, that's one of my mantras. Look, I've been telling you guys about the Legacy Wealth program for months. It's something that was actually created years ago. And I've only worked with a few people, select few people, on getting it really, truly fine-tuned. Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick. It is Wealth Building Wednesday. As you saw with the intro, we are really fine-tuning and bringing out and rolling out Legacy Wealth Academy in full force. I want to make a real quick announcement before I get into today's discussion on wealth building, and that is with Legacy Wealth. This is the last day. The next 24 hours is the last 24 hours that you will be able to get Legacy Wealth under $1,000. This is a 6-month course with about 24 months worth of courses and curriculum packed into it. And it's an ongoing thing. So even after the course is over, there are continued education modules and everything. And we are now going to be going to a price that better facilitates what we've had to put into building it, as well as what we're going to have to do in order to facilitate the courses. We're moving the course online to a online classroom environment for interaction so that everybody can participate at a time that's convenient for them versus trying to get everybody to show up on a weekly basis to a specified time. And that's going to cost. So after today, it will no longer be $997 for this course, which I think is worth well over 10 grand. It is going to be $1997. And it's still extremely valuable at that. Either you get it or you don't. I really don't have time to sell it. But what I'm telling you is every element and component of wealth building that they know that we don't know is in this course. And I went out and I spent years asking, learning, and developing. Some of it I've been able to implement in practice. I'm still developing a bunch of other things. But what I can tell you is I also want to be able to bring in the experts on certain areas where I'm not an expert. I know the importance of a trust, but the intricacies in developing and building the trust so that it protects and works for you in every little area, though all of those things, I have several guys that I've worked with over the years that are beasts at that. And I want to be able to bring those guys in to teach the course. I want to be able to do a bunch of different things in other areas. I want to bring people in who are masters at managing and understanding the stock market. I have done well by simply just being an autodidact and learning and doing it in a rather conservative way. So I want to bring people in that's going to show you the entire spectrum, teach you everything that they know, from how they think, how they talk, how they move, what they view as assets versus liabilities, understanding all of these different things, including the thing I'm going to teach you about now. This is the last time it's going to be at $997. I hope that you see the value and you get it, but this is going to be an online course. You're going to be able to go online. You're going to be able to take each module, and these are intensive. There are courses within this course that in them of themselves are courses that are more valuable than what you're paying for it. There are at least 5 courses that are worth more than $1,000 in this one course. I built it that way because I wanted it. A lot of what I've put in the solutions part of my latest book, the War on Black Wealth, Breaking the Code of Generational Wealth. A lot of that's in this course, but it's broken down and it's detailed, and it takes you on a step-by-step journey of how to do it, how to utilize it, from annuities to insurance mechanisms to other hard assets, in outside of the stock market, real estate, so many different things that we don't understand how it works. How to leverage your credit, in the right way. So many different things that we fail to understand, and it works against us instead of for us. You have to ask yourself why, with so many different things. It's obvious that we're exceptional. It's obvious that we're extraordinary. It's obvious that we have a high intellectual capacity. It's obvious that we are immensely creative and innovative, and that it is showing in the unbelievable ways that some of us are presenting ourselves. Then you must ask yourself, if that's the case, why is the wealth gap still widening? And the answers is in understanding how things work. The mindset we have around money alone is destroying us. And so I want to bring all of this up, the psychology of wealth building, the psychology of finance, the psychology of money, and how it either works for you or it works against you. Everything in your life that you're going to either be successful or fail at is going to determine your psychology and your mind and your thinking on that particular issue, on that particular aspect or topic. Now, that's that. So the link is in the description box, along with some other information if you want to take advantage of it. But the link for Legacy Wealth is in the description box. You have 24 hours, and it's going to go up by $1,000. And I'm confident in what we're delivering. And I only want people who are willing to invest in themselves to join. The reason that I've been as successful as I have in all the different things that I do, the reason I can boast a 99.9 success rate is because I haven't had one person who has completed a course with me and said they didn't get what they came for and more. Now, someone who, and I haven't had anybody say they haven't, but if they don't finish, I don't count it as a success. But no one that has finished has said I didn't get, because there is a process, there is a pattern, there are principles. It's not a hit or miss. It's whether you're going to invest yourself into doing something and stay until it's done. And that's the thing. The way that I have won in life isn't I've had all the magic answers. I've never made any mistakes. I've never had any setbacks. I've never had frustrations, disappointments. I've experienced it all. And I experience challenge constantly. Why? Because I'm pressing myself to be the best. So I'm never taking it easy. I'm never taking the easy route. I'm never taking it and going, I'm just going to coast. No, I'm never coasting. So I'm constantly in a push. But what it does, it makes me stronger. It makes me resilient. It makes me more confident, because what I do is I look behind me and I see that there were a bunch of times that should have took me out, but I'm still standing. I'm better for it, stronger for it, wiser for it. And I've made other people better from what I've learned. And so that is how you win. You finish, you stay in the fight. You don't quit. You don't sit up and go, man, this sucks. This doesn't look like anything I thought it would look like. It doesn't feel like anything I thought it would feel like. This is not what I was expecting. It never is. If it was what you expect, a bunch of people will be out there, because a lot of people want something. Very few people are willing to invest and do what it takes to have it. That's the problem. It's not what you want. It's not what you say. It's what are you willing to do and become in order to have it. So that's that. And let's get to it. This today's lesson on wealth is real simple. And it is know and understand the cost to play. Everything in investment and wealth building can be looked at as a game. One of the best games I've ever seen to teach it is Monopoly. We played it, but we didn't play it with an understanding of what happens and why. The Robert Kiyosaki came up with a game similar to Monopoly called the Rat Race. And it's a game where you sit up and you have to make decisions as you move through the game, and based on those decisions, it determines whether or not you get out the rat race of going to work every day just to pay bills. And both of these teach you simple principles, but on the grand scope of things, building wealth is a game. And so one of the things that every successful investor that I have had the opportunity of talking to and learning from has had a mindset that one of the top four things that they're always aware of anytime they're entering investment is, what is it going to cost me? Now, that's not the same as understanding the risk, which is what do I stand to lose, or understanding asymmetric risk rewards. It's how much will this investment cost me? Now, investments cost. They are a buy-in. What it was cost. Now, we're not talking about what it will cost me in the amount of money I'm putting in. That lines up in the risk column because I could lose that. That's the risk column. But what am I going to give up even if I win? Is where you determine what your cost to play is. And investors know what their cost to play is. Sometimes it's not worth it because the cost to play is too high. Well, what are some of the costs? The costs are, number one, your tax liabilities. How much are you going to give up in your earnings or your gains that will be taken away in taxes? Now, obviously, we're going to have people in Legacy Wealth Academy that's going to be teaching you about how to use trust, how to use corporations, um, how to build LLC, and then have that LLC held under a C corp and have that C corp run with, which will provide tax shelters. But the problem is with a C corp that you can easily end up with what's called dual taxation. However, one way to escape dual taxation, and the IRS hates hearing these words, but it is an unincorporated business trust. An unincorporated business trust protects you from dual taxation, and as long as you're operating within the trust, within the guidelines of the federal law, you can literally operate, build, and grow your wealth without having it taxed until it's paid out to you in person from the trust to your personal being. The beautiful thing about an unincorporated business trust or a corporation is you can operate most of your expenses as long as you can associate them with businesses through that. And you can, in other words, so you can literally build a lifestyle without having to pay taxes on it. And it goes into a lot of deeper stuff. Now, I don't want you going out trying stuff without understanding it. That's why it's important to learn it. But so the first thing that you need to know is your tax liability. What is it going to cost you in taxes? Now, here's where it gets real interesting. If you're moving, a lot of times you're going to have someone managing your money. You're going to have someone who is advising you or making your moves for you. They're going to be a money manager, money advisor, whatever. They're going to have a license and they're going to handle your money, right? Okay. They charge you. How much does it cost for you to enter this? Are you on a flat rate with your broker or your advisor, whatever, where no matter what, you pay a flat rate per transaction? Well, then you know what your cost is. But are you paying a commission? Now, the commission could be different depending on the asset, depending on the entry. So then you have to understand what that is. You want me to tell you how it gets even bigger? Not just in situations like that. Let's talk about something where you have a lot more input and you can deal with it, and you might not have a financial advisor in this, but it is where a bunch of people are placing a significant amount of their earnings, your 401k. Now, in your 401k, you have the ability to choose where that money is going to be invested to a large extent. Here's the thing where nobody's looking, and in the annual reports or in the documentation that reveals your fees and all of this stuff, it's so convoluted and ridiculous that nobody understands it unless you have a financial advisor who can literally sit down and go through the minimum of 50 pages. It used to be a lot larger than that, but what we found out is most people were getting literally ripped off and didn't have a clue. And so they came up with what they call a fiduciary standard of reporting for 401ks, which is still ridiculous, and still the average person can understand it, but it's down from 300 something pages to 50 pages, and you still don't understand. But let me tell you what is happening. On average, $17 billion a year are hitting people for fees just to have the 401k. The management fees, all the other fees, transaction fees, all these fees amount to $17 billion a year for everybody that's participating in 401k. So you need to understand what your cost is to even have your 401k. It doesn't make sense to operate financially and not know where your money's going. You're putting it in. Now, okay, I'm investing and I'm getting this much back. But how much are you not getting back? How much did you pay for that investment? When you enter investments, how much is it costing per transaction? You need to understand that. When you're purchasing a property, how many points are going to agents? How many points are going here or there for the cost of that transaction to acquire that property? You need to understand that to the penny, because you will lose over time thousands upon thousands of dollars if you don't understand that. Now, the smart investor not only understands and knows what it is and what the costs are to be in each and every transaction that they're in, they are also building what you call hedges. Hedges are the things that help you leverage other forms of income so that you are constantly looking for ways to offset what you are paying and losing in fees and taxes. It's understanding the game and playing the game, and knowing what's going on. One of the biggest things that I found with people who are dealing with any form of oppression, whether it's financial oppression, whether it's social oppression, whatever, is they are vulnerable to that oppression because they don't understand how things work. I'll give you a prime example. Bishop Desmond Bismarck is a bishop out of, I want to say, Tanzania. I could be wrong, but I think it's Tanzania. And he tells a story about the government. And it's a story about how things work. And the government has copper. This particular nation has a large copper store. They have copper mines everywhere, but they don't know how to manage or mine copper. And this goes back to a while ago, but they didn't know how to manage and mine copper. So they didn't know how to monetize these natural resources. And so what they did is they found a mining company that they could bring in and handle the mining operation. The mining company, understanding that they didn't know how things work, set up a deal with them to buy the rights to mine in the country, not just come in and be paid to mine and be paid a percentage of what they mine or be paid a flat rate for what they mine, which was what the country should have negotiated. They bought the rights to mine in there. So now they own the rights to mine. That's their stuff to mine. And they did it for a flat rate of $75 million and 5%. Now, here's the crazy thing. They didn't just win, like big win. Then they turned around and said, we're not going to pay you the 75 million up front. What we're going to do is we're going to pay it to you over time. So what they did is they mined that copper and made money off of it, paid this nation with the proceeds from its copper, all while it's one of the poorest nations if you look at the social and infrastructural development and buildup of the country. You got people sick. You got people dying from AIDS in this country at a rate that's not necessarily what's going on. It's unnecessary, but they don't know what to do. So what happens is they get exploited because they didn't understand how things work. Same thing happens every day in the world of finance. People get exploited because they don't understand how money works. People get exploited because they bought into an old idea based on what they inherited from their parents. And they're moving on that because they automatically think that's what happens. And if you don't understand how things work, if you don't have all of the elements and components through which you can process the information and make a legitimate decision, the decisions you're making aren't educated decisions. They are uninformed decisions or misrepresented decisions. And so you're making decisions off of information that's been fed to you for the purpose of dictating how you make that decision. The media controls everything. If everything is set up for a certain number of people to do a certain number of things, that's the balance. That's the ecosystem of finance in this country and in this world. If you want to be on the right side of the ecosystem, you're going to have to learn how things work so that you can learn how to navigate this labyrinthine corridor so that you can get to the side where you're now on the beneficial side. And then you can, as you learn it, you can teach it to other people, or you can help them bring it. Will it at one point offset the ecosystem? Hell yeah. That should be the goal. One small group of people shouldn't be dominating the wealth. This universe is literally built on abundance. That shouldn't be anybody starving. So then you have to know how to operate in that, so that you aren't the victim of it. You got to change your thinking, first of all, because your thinking is what's controlling your decision making. How you see things, how you view things, what becomes important to you. Is it more important to you to look like you have it and convince everybody you got it, or is it more important for you to have it? Because a lot of times the way you protect it is not by showing it. Also, stop looking at and chasing shiny things. Something my great grandmother taught me, and if you grew up anywhere near my era, you've heard it too. Something my grandmother used to always tell you: everything that glitters isn't gold, son. It looks good on the outside, but what substance, what value does it bring to your life? That comes in relationships, that comes in property acquisition, it comes in the building out of things. You need to know what things are coming to you to bring value and to expand you versus to detract from you and dissipate your capacity. And when you don't understand that, you tend to buy into the shiny thing because it just looks good. And then you come from a culture where we've been chasing shiny things because we believe shiny things is how we equate and level out the playing field. You don't level out the playing field by asking someone to do something for you. You level out the playing field by discovering how you do it for yourself. And this is what all of this is about. So the idea is to understand all the different ways that you are going to be spending money or having or losing money in any type or form of investment. You want to know what it's going to cost you. Everything costs. The thing is, ignorance costs. The lack of knowledge costs. It's just hard to quantitate how much it's costing you because a lot of times it's not in a tangible measurement, at least not up front. But you've got to understand for everything you don't know, there's a price to pay for it. You're never going to know everything. Well, that's why you should be building powerful circles. That's why you should be building winning circles. That's why you should be in an environment with people who know things you don't know. Why? Because collectively, you become less likely to be manipulated, exploited, and overrun. You got to understand the importance of building in every area of your life in order to grow. Wealth isn't just about money. The most important area of wealth is in your mental and physical health. Then it's in your relationships. And as you get your health right and your relationships right, you're in a better position to make that money thing work for you, even when things are down. When people talk to me about where I'm at, what matters to me most and where I'm at in this life, that was a point in time that, yeah, I wanted to have all the shiny stuff. And I did that. I did the hell out of that. And it had no real value. But when people ask me now, where my greatest value of what I do in the sense of wealth building is the capacity to survive turbulent times, the ability to have created a system of income and assets and control over things that when things get rough, I made it through the pandemic. And I made it through the pandemic in a time where the company was trying to do some things that were straining it, and I still made it because I understand how things work. I understand how to diversify my engagements and my movements, and that in and of itself is wealth. My greatest asset isn't what's in my bank account; it's what's between my ears and what it allows me to do. But at the same time, I've got to control it. So, yeah. Yes. We don't have anything that's subject to, Erlene is asking about college level grants. A great deal of what I do is associated with uh, a high level institution by the name of the Crystal Rain Institute, also, which is connected to where the seminary where I received my doctorates, which is Array of Hope Theological Seminary and Crystal Rain Institute. I am on the board there. I'm also one of the advisors. I also write a great deal of the curriculums there. We are also nationally accredited, and we are connected directly to the University of North Carolina, Chapel Hill. And a lot of what we do are offered through there. You may be able to go through there and get it and get services that you can't get directly. The things I'm offering now are things that I'm sponsoring myself and I'm bringing forth and I'm creating and giving from what I'm creating. But yeah, there are a lot of different ways that you can do this. I've been like to say, this is nothing new to me. I've been doing this for a while. I'm just elevating it and I'm changing it. And one of the things that you're going to see is a lot of the things that I've been giving at highly discounted prices are going to go away. I've done that for so long that I can no longer do it. I've ran my business, a percentage of my business. I knew what I was doing. I ran it off of feelings. I wanted to help everybody. I wanted to reach people who couldn't afford me. I wanted to reach people who couldn't see the value. And I can no longer do that and achieve what I need to achieve for me, my family, and the things that I want to see as a part of my legacy. So I'm running my business now as a business. And so it's a lot of things going to fall out. I looked at it. I'm not going to say this, but I will say way too much of what I did of the last few years were discounted and extremely discounted to a specific group of people. And it's time for us to stand up and handle our business. And one thing I can't do is be irresponsible with the very things that I'm creating and building and sculpting to leave to my kids. So, with that being said, that's another lesson. Business is business, and it has to be ran like a business or it won't be a business long. I have been very creative in doing what I'm doing, but there are some things I want to do and get behind me. And this year is it. There will be no there will be no uh, shortcuts and put offs. I'm going for it and I'm building. Yeah, I can't tell you what's coming at me, but I can tell you how I'm going to answer it and respond to it. And so that's the thing. I've done that. And the fact that I've been able to do that and still remain viable and I haven't sunk myself is amazing in and of itself. Um, but that's way too much to put on myself. So I'm not doing that no more. I have something that people who understand will need and see value in. Some won't. They'll have to catch the next go round of the next person or the person that's willing to give stuff away for free. But I want to give the best quality of engagement and teaching so that people are winners when they walk away. And that's one thing I've created. I've created winners. But in order to do that at the scale I want to do it at, I've got to be able to resource myself by the way that I set my pricing. So that's that part of it. So understand that things that are coming. One of the things you're going to see over the next couple of weeks is me saying, hey, this is the last time it's going to be. This is the last time it's going to be. This is because it's time for people to step up and it's time for me to take my situation where it's supposed to be. And this is the year. So that's that. So again, this is the last day, well, 24-hour period where you're going to be able to get the Legacy Wealth 6-month course. I keep saying 6-month course, but having written curriculums for college courses, I can tell you this is not your average 6-month course. This is a 6-month course that's highly intense. Now, the beauty of it is once you get into it, you're not going to be shut out and thrown away in 6 months. You're going to have access to every video, every lecture, all of the notes that are going to be kept online. You're going to have access to all of that. Come back as if you want, but you're also going to become a part of the Epic Realm community of high achievers. And it's so cool that I'm mentioning that because one of the members of the Epic Realm community of high achievers is someone that is from my tree. My tree is people that I've impacted and helped. This person is now holds their doctorate in nursing and psychology. Is a nurse practitioner and is currently in West Africa doing her thing. Dr. Sherry Tomlin is remarkable in and of itself. But these are the type of people that are in the Epic Realm community. Now, a lifetime membership for the Epic Realm is $100. I stopped selling the membership and I just start saying, hey, instead of selling the membership and just bringing people in to sit around and talk and collect, I decided to create a program. As you become a part of this program, you also gain a lifetime membership into the Epic Realm community. And these are people who are CEOs of clinics, nurse practitioners, people who were homeless and now only on business. I have a client who is a interior designer. I have so many people who are there just looking to fan your flames and give you their insight and tell you the journeys that they walked on. These are people that came to me, and not the ones I'm talking about, the 99.9. When you finish, I promise you, you will not be the same. I don't have the promotional thing going yet. That's something else I'm going to do. The cost, Erlene, for the course now is $997. It's going to go up to $1997. The value of this course, when you look at it, there are literally 4 or 5 courses within the course that are worth more than $1,000 each. I stacked this course. And when I say I stacked it, I've found every element and component, theory, philosophy, and everything about wealth building from the top dogs, the Ray Dalios, the Jack Vogels, the David Swinsons, the Warren Buffetts, and on down the line, people who made their living off of understanding how to invest. And I learned it from, it's so much in there. It's huge. If you put it in a book, it'd probably be a 1,000-page book, easy. But that's what it is. It's only going to be $9.97 for 24 hours. Then it's going to go to $19.97. And again, you're still going to get so much for that because it's going to be online. The next course, what is it, February 1st? The next course starts in a few weeks. And so it's going to be online. It's going to be direct engagement. You're going to have me checking in. You're going to have other people checking in and answering questions for each module that you're going to travel down. And like I say, this is extensive. You're going to have to put the time in, but it's self-paced in the sense that you don't have to do it all in this amount of time. You're not getting F's because you didn't do this and this. We want you to finish it and complete it. The other thing is you're going to walk away with a certification as a financial consultant. This is not a licensed financial advisor, stockbroker, anything like this. This is a certified financial advisor saying that you have taken an intense course that comes from an accredited institution that has qualified you to give advice. I would advise to use that responsibly. And you'll get once you get the certification, you'll get all of the disclaimers and all the things like that. One of the things that you have to be real careful with is what you tell people you can do. One of the things that I took out of this is I will not be entering into any business agreement with anybody in the class while they're taking the class, because I don't want to influence you before you have the ability to make decisions with a complete knowledge and understanding of how things work. And so we're going to go through this. So if you decide that's what you want to do, this is the time to do it, because the people who pay the $9.97 getting the same course of the people who are going to be paying the $19.97. The difference is they simply made the choice to get in at the right time. And actually, that's an element of investing. Getting in at the right time. Depends on where you get in. It's going to determine how much you earn, how much you make, how much you win. So on that note, look, I'm going to get ready to get out of here. I have enjoyed sharing with you guys. Again, take advantage of the Legacy Wealth course. And I will be back later on the day to talk about some other things. So today we're going to talk about, a little later on, we're going to talk about critical race theory, what it is and what it isn't, and why we should understand it more, and why should we be using some of the principles within critical race theory to evaluate our current situations. And we'll go into that later on today. But as for now, I'm checking out. I got some more work to do. Hopefully I'll see you signing up for the Legacy Wealth program. On that note, I'm out. Hello, everybody. It's Dr. Rick here. Hope everybody who's watching this is having an unbelievable day. I hope up until this point you've had an unbelievable year. And if you're watching it, I hope that everything that you have set out to do, you've accomplished. If not, if you're still breathing, you're still in the fight. You know, that's one of my mantras. Look, I've been telling you guys about the Legacy Wealth program for months. It's something that was actually created years ago. And I've only worked with a few people, select few people, on getting it really, truly fine-tuned